Brussels, May 2 and 3, 2023. De Brussels Universities, Vrije Universiteit Brussel en Universiteit Libre de Bruxelles, united in the Brussels University Alliance, have decided to jointly award the Difference Day Honorary title for freedom of expression to Jennifer Clement for her vital and courageous contribution to the freedom of thinking, writing, and expression.
Ms. Clement, the floor is now yours.
Good evening, dear friends and colleagues. To be here today and receive this recognition with Ravish Kumar and those who have received it in other years before us is to stand with my heroes. I wish to thank Rector Jan Dankart from the VUB University, Rector Enyemi Jaus from ULB, and the Beaux-Arts team, and all the associated partners of Difference Day, an impressive list. I also want to especially thank Flemish Pen, Sigrid Bousset, and Alicia Geszinska. And very happy to find friends and Pen colleagues like Carles Torner, Linda Walker, and Christoph von Grafenried, Jan Martens, Thierry Juliard, Emmanuel Asamoah, Monique Van Pamel, and Boris Novak, as well as David Raybrook here tonight. Finally, my great respect and in memory of Carolyn Powles, whom I never had the honor to meet, but have heard how inspiring she was in so many ways, and also always stood for the cause of freedom of speech. It is a true honor to be given this distinction for both my literature and advocacy defending freedom of expression. I want to recognize my Pen member colleagues across the globe who, with difficulty and often in grave danger, are devoted to protecting freedom of expression. This accolade also belongs to them. Today, defending freedom of expression everywhere holds unimaginable complexity in the face of old and new threats. In an attempt to bring some light to this complexity, I will share the list of categories we use at Pen when making our yearly case list of writers and journalists who are silenced. Yes, it's a cold list of categories on a page, but for me, this list is a song of sorrow or a march of affliction. This is the list. Executed by the state, killed with impunity, killed, trial in progress, enforced disappearance, abduction, reported missing, death in custody, attacked, imprisoned, detained, judicial concern due to irregularities, torture allegations, or because the country has the death penalty. Sentenced, conditional release, on trial, brief detention, harassment, death threat, judicial harassment, threatened, forced exile, released. When I wrote the name Daphne Caruana Galizia in the list under killed with impunity, I was sure the birds in Malta had stopped singing. When I wrote the name Selahattin Dermitas under imprisoned, I felt as if all the Kurds in the world had been locked up. And in what category shall we place so many of the world's women, since violence against women and girls is a form of censorship? For Iran, as an example, do we need a category for mass poisoning of schoolgirls? Or a category for whipping for Afghan girls who go to school? There is a short poem by the 14th century Sufi poet Hafiz, which is an ode to freedom, and I will read it here. The poem is called Dropping Keys, and tells us how the ignoble person, the liar, the oligarch, and dictator want to keep everyone in cages, while the noble person drops keys to open the cage or prison doors. This is the poem, Dropping Keys. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows, while the wise man, who has to bow his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping all night long, dropping keys for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners, while the wise man drops keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. Today, we acknowledge the gravity of threats to freedom of expression, but it is also incredibly uplifting to be a part of this ceremony and remember the bravery of those who speak out and risk so much for a poem that questions God, a report that exposes the deceptions of a government, or a story that tells a truth, and on and on. On the occasion of World Press Freedom Day, it is good to be in a room with people who drop keys. Thank you again for this honor.